This is just a little extra milk we're going to throw in here, guys. Nothing special. Kind of get a little better consistency going on. With the succotash now starting to get nice, everything's cooking down. We want to add our roasted corn. Just grilled corn. That's all it is. Soybean succotash. So we kind of stir that around. And like Brian's, he's deglazing his pot. Deglazing is one of the most important things when you're cooking vegetables or sauteing, because when you get a little bit of that tidbits on the bottom there, kind of scraping it around, add some of that liquid, scrape it up a little more, gets a good flavor up. So this is just white wine. It's all it is, a little Chardonnay. Keep it nice and fresh for the summertime.
All right, so I just added the crab stock, and again, it's just crab bodies with onion, celery, and leek, which the leek greens kind of give it a greenish hue along with the bodies. You can, but you don't have to. When I make my crab stock, you're only going to cook it 30 to 45 minutes. About halfway through the process, I actually grind them up with my hand blender to try and get as much flavor out of them as possible. But you don't have to, but I think it helps extract a lot of that flavor that's on the inside of their shells. And all we're going to do now is actually let this come to a simmer. Probably let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes before we go on to the next step. So we're going to do some marinated crab claws as well. The claws taken off of jumbo crabs are nice and big, and they kind of fluctuate throughout the year depending on the growth of the crabs. But these, you can see in the mirror, these are pretty nice size. We're not going to do much to them. These have tons of natural flavor. We're going to just season those with a little bit of salt and pepper. We're going to use a little bit of fresh ground white pepper today. A little bit of olive oil. Some minced garlic.
I love a good marinated crab finger, yeah. That's for sure.
Some fresh parsley.
I'm going to add the bacon now to the succotash, guys. Nothing crazy, but I'm going to add a little bit of bacon in there, get a little more flavor kind of going on in there, get a little more texture in there with that bacon. Kind of give it a little freshness to the succotash, a little fresh chopped basil. Kind of gets a little good flavor going on. A little, more flavors, packing in the flavor here, guys. And if you like thyme, use thyme, rosemary, whatever you like. It's all about the fresh herbs in the end. It gives it a nice, just kind of brings the flavor out of everything else. So in this back pan, I put a little clarified butter. And so we're going to start doing the crab cakes in the back pan back here. Get a little jump on that. Take a little yellow, small diced onion, and we're just going to kind of sweat that out for a second. And the crab cake, in my crab cakes, I don't like a lot of filler. I don't like a lot of vegetables. I don't like egg. It's just how I like mine. I like mine crabby. I like the bite in straight up crab cakes, but I do use a couple of items. I do start off with a little yellow onion. Now just kind of render that down a little bit. And all you want to do is just kind of sweat it out. You don't want to do anything crazy to it. We'll add a little more clarified butter. You don't want to brown them up. Just kind of get them nice and translucent. We'll put it on low heat. The succotash is pretty much there. We're going to kind of turn the succotash off. I'll put on low heat for right now. Just kind of let it hang out and stay warm. Also with the succotash, you got to have a little garlic, right? Everyone likes chopped garlic. Garlic goes great with everything. So put that in there. Kind of let that garlic slowly sweat out in the end. Good special. So we got some jumbo lump crab meat here. Good Louisiana stuff. Want to add that. Put it all in there.
So both Nathan and I use a specific brand of crab meat called Pontchartrain Blue. It's in Slidell, and it is the best crab meat on the planet, hands down.
It really is.
It's double picked before it's packaged. Typically only has 1 or 2 shells in a whole pound. It is absolutely delicious. You can basically get it year-round because they do pasteurize some of the local crabs so that we have crab meat available to us in the winter. But crabs are just about to hit full swing right now.
We had a good cold season actually.
Yeah,
I never had to get pasteurized this year. Normally I do. And we got soft shells coming in this month, hopefully, huh?
Any week now.
Any week now. We're just waiting. All right. So in this right here, I just got a little crab meat, the sautéed onions, a little salt and pepper, and Just kind of whisking this around, kind of get some of the heat off there. We want to add some of this to that crab mixture. And then from there, we're going to add a little Parmesan, chopped green onions, and a little, I call it seasoned panko. You know what panko is? It's a Japanese breadcrumb, nice, light, and airy. Great stuff for especially crab cakes. It doesn't weigh it down. So a seasoned panko is just a little bit of cayenne, a good bit of celery salt. I love celery salt in my crab cakes. A little dry mustard, a little salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. That's all it is. Then I use a regular ground panko, which panko, it comes in a little bigger chunks than this, and I always puree it up. I always put it in my food processor and kind of break it down a little bit. It just helps stick better, helps work better. All right, so we're going to add, how's your soup looking? Heating up a little bit?
Need a little more heat.
Need a little more heat?
Yeah.
You want a double burner? Two burners?
No, that's good.
You good?
That's good.
So we're just going to pour in just a little bit of bechamel, guys. Y'all see this? Just enough to kind of get the mixture nice and wet. We'll kind of fold that around. So when it's, do a little finger test, but lightly sticks to your hands like that. If you got a pair of gloves on, touch it, kind of comes off a little bit, pretty much ready. It's ready to go. And if you stick your hand in there kind of lightly and it comes up and you've got a sloppy mess on there, add some more breadcrumbs to it. And that's if you use any kind of breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs, homemade breadcrumbs, panko. So.
All right, so our soup ideally would be simmering by now, but we're going to go ahead, it's starting to. We're going to add a little bit of cream to that, heavy cream. And then we'd let this simmer for, if we're nice and rolling, we'd simmer it for another 15 minutes before we pureed it.
So the crab cake, however big you want it, it's up to you. But I like about a good 3.5 ounce crab cake, a big one. You know, I don't like a small crab cake. So we'll just kind of patty it up. Doesn't have to be perfect, you know. Cooking at home, just make it just how you like it. Like a little piece of artwork, actually. So you get a nice, but you want to get it nice and kind of even, so to cook evenly throughout the process. But here you go. You have got it. So we're just going to toss that right in the panko. All right, so the crab cakes are browning up nicely. Like I said, you don't want too high of a heat. You don't want to burn the outside of your crab cake and not get the inside done. You want to kind of warm the whole way through. So you really want to keep an eye on it. Panko cooks a lot faster than your regular breadcrumb too, because it's so light. It just kind of browns up much quicker. So you want to kind of keep a close eye on it.
All right, so our soup's been simmering pretty hard. So now all we're going to do, we got this little immersion blender, and we're going to blend it up so that the vegetables, we're going to kill some of that heat.
All right, so now we got a nice emulsification back here. It's that simple. Homemade mayonnaise. So you don't have to go buy that mayonnaise no more from the store and spend all the money. 2 eggs and some oil, a little salt and pepper. We'll add a little sambal to it now. Like on this sauce right here, this aioli, you can make it thicker if you like to actually. But I make this one just a little bit thin because I'm using it as a sauce on my crab cake. I want it to kind of run over the top. I don't want it to perk up a lot, you know. But if you add a little more oil, you'll get that kind of mayonnaise-y texture that you want on a sandwich, you know.
So if you notice, we took those crab claws out earlier and just kind of let them hang out. We don't want them to be too cold because we're going to be garnishing our soup with them. It's got a nice yellow hue to it. We'll just pour a little bit over to warm them up even more.
I'm just going to kind of put some down on the plate. I'm just going to stretch it across. We'll just kind of give a little dollop of sauce right on top of the crab cakes.